Sukhi Hotu, and welcome to the Buddhist Mahavira's Dhammadana series. We are going live this evening here at the Buddhist Mahavira's Facebook page and also at the Thera Buddhist Council's Facebook page as well. And this evening, we have with us a guest from Canada, and this Bhante is appearing on the Dhammadana series for the first time. Uh, and we're very glad to have Bhante accept our invitation to join us this evening to present a Dhamma sermon entitled Conducive Factors for Mental Development. Um, Without much ado, let me introduce Bhante into the studio. Good morning, Bhante. I know it's early morning in
Good
Canada.
morning, Leslie.
And for those of you who haven't met and seen Bhante, as I mentioned, Bhante's first appearance here at the Buddhist Mahavira's Dhammadana series. And let me read a quick profile of Bhante so that we know where Bhante is and what he does. Now, Venerable Mathumangala Chandananda is a Sri Lankan Buddhist monk. He currently resides in Calgary, Canada, fulfilling an invitation from the Sri Lankan Buddhist Society there. He had a deep interest in meditation, and after practicing meditation for many years, he became a monk. He was ordained as a Buddhist monk at the age of 31 by his teacher, the most venerable Kiri Orowe Dhammananda Thero at Pokunu Vitta Sirivinyana Lankaramaya in Horana. Since then, he has graduated with the Bachelor of Arts in Buddhist Philosophy and has a master's degree in Pali and Buddhist culture from the Buddhist and Pali University in Sri Lanka. He has also obtained a diploma in psychology and counseling, which has enabled him to have a deeper understanding of human problems and finding spiritual solutions. So, without much ado, I would like to invite Bhante to start this evening's Dhamma sharing entitled Conducive Factors for Mental Development. Bhante, please.
Thank you very much, Leslie, and thank you very much, Reverend Kotapal Sumayda Thera also, who introduced me to this program. So, meditation or bhavana is of central importance for our well-being. And today I would like to pay attention to various conducive factors for our spiritual growth. So you are very well aware that Buddha pointed out everything in the world is cause and effect. Now, philosophically, there were many schools. Even now, there are certain schools of thought. They held the view that things happen in the universe according to a Almighty God's wish. So Buddha did not recognize that. And also, on the other hand, some people argued that uh, things happen by chance. There is no particular order. But that end also Buddha rejected. And taking the middle path, Buddha pointed out that there are certain norms which govern the universe. One important central norm is that Buddha pointed out hetum paticca sambhutang, hetu banga niruddhati. When certain causes and conditions come to be, we will see the effect. And when those conducive factors are withdrawn or disappear, the fruits or the effect also will disappear. So if we want to progress in the meditation journey, definitely we should learn how to bring together various conducive factors to our biological, psychological, spiritual well-being. So this is very important. Now, in the Satipatthana Sutta, you might have observed, you might remember that Buddha exhorted us to be aware of uh, various factors that give rise to various states of mind. Let's say there are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feelings, and also various thoughts, various states of our mind. And Buddha repeatedly exhorted that we should understand in terms of cause and effect how various states come to be. Pali term is samudaya dhammanupassiva vedanasu viharati, for an example. So when there are pleasant feelings, we try to understand in terms of cause and effect which triggered this kind of pleasant or unpleasant or neutral mental state. And when we understand this, certain conditions, certain mental states, we can develop on purpose. On purpose, we can plan. If I thought, if I think in this way, with in this kind of dwelling, consuming this kind of food, associating with this type of people, I might end up in this at this level. So that's a great kind of encouragement, so that we know that we can plan, and it promotes our faith and hope with regard to this path of liberation as well. So, dear friends, and also you might have observed that during certain days, your mind is peaceful, even without doing certain things people do to attain that end, calmness or peacefulness. Right? Sometimes there is peaceful abiding in our mind, and also during certain days, mind is bit distracted. There is no much peace of mind or happiness in our mind, even though you try to attain certain happiness by doing various things people do to reach that end. So, if you observe, one very important thing that promotes our well-being is the food we consume. That is a big topic in Buddhism, right? Now, by the term food, I mean here the coarse food, tangible food, uh, what you can physically see. Because I stress that point, in Buddhism, Buddha also pointed out there are some other forms of food. As an example, consciousness will be a form of food to certain gods in the Brahma world. They don't consume coarse food like rice, curry, bread, etc. They don't consume that. For them, consciousness itself is a food. But in this specific topic, in this context, I talk about coarse food. So now, in the model of Ayurveda, right? Maybe you are familiar as South Asians, East Asians, Malaysians. I think most of you are familiar with Ayurveda. And according to the Ayurvedic model, they teach us that certain food, it promotes bile in our body, and certain foods, it promotes phlegm, and certain foods, it promotes air. Sometimes they cause some agitation in our body, in our physical body. So all these components, phlegm, bile, air, those elements should be in balance in order to experience some basic comfortable state. And unless we have that balance, it is difficult to develop and maintain our calmness, insight we dearly hope in our meditation practice. So, as an example, now let's say in Sri Lanka, we have a certain very popular indigenous dish called kanji made out of especially we use herbal plants for that, right? Some gruel or herbal kanji. And if I take that soup kind of thing in the morning, especially if it is a rainy day, I don't take much because it promotes phlegm, mucus in my body, and many other people also experience that. So uh, if we upset our body taking wrong food during wrong at a wrong time, right? No matter how much we strive for in our meditation cushion or walking meditation path, we might not get desired results, because that basic factor, there is some imbalance. So Western doctors, they talk about certain allergic conditions, right? Now I'm living in Canada and they talk a lot about these allergic reactions. I'm not talking here only about allergic reactions. This is somewhat subtler than that, right? One might not have an allergy in medical point of view, but still there can certain foods might cause some imbalance in your biological body, and it might hinder your meditational journey. So this is important. And again, your teacher cannot point out that this is what you should eat, or this is what you have to avoid, because each and every one of us, we have our own genetic makeup, right? Our bodily makeup is different. You have to experiment on your own, right? What are the foods that promote well-being? You have to memorize that. You have to observe. Samudaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati. Right? That teaching is very broad. It is not only what is very proximate causes. Cause and effect relationship run throughout all our life. Right? So we should read the situation, and we have to remember, then we can sort of engineer our well-being. We can, on purpose, we can bring up certain good conditions, and we can eliminate certain undesirable conditions. So, and also, as a general rule, I can say that natural foods are the best for our meditation and our spiritual growth. Natural foods, but not various artificial food, processed food. They are not so good. Even in medical point of view, now many people understand that natural foods are the best, even for meditation. So with regard to this, we hear a nice, very touching story. It is from the commentaries. One group of monks during the time of the Buddha, they received meditation instructions from the Buddha himself. And this group of monks, they went in search of a good village, good place to meditate, and having walked for a long distance, they came to a nice village, and they were happy to see that one upasika, one lady, she volunteered to make some dwellings, and she pledged support for these monks. And actually, it's very interesting that this lady is called Matika Mata. She haven't even heard the word meditation, but somehow during some conversation, this clicked in. And when the word meditation was mentioned, she asked, okay, this meditation, if I heard that monks are occupied in meditation, and what is that? So monks explained, and she asked, can we also, can a woman also practice this? Monks said, yes, lay people, even women, they can practice. And monks gave instructions. So this lady, in the comfort of her home, she practiced, right? And after some time, before long, uh, she attained the stage of anagami. Definitely, this lady should have been practiced this meditation in previous lives, right? This is how we uh, reap great fruits, benefits, results in a short time. And then she scanned, and she also earned psychic powers, and she scanned the minds of all those her spiritual friends, those monks, to know when my good friends attain this holy state. Unfortunately, she found that none of the monks were enlightened, not even the first stage. They haven't reached. And then she tried to find out whether they have various conducive factors, in the sense that uh, whether they have enough merits, are they gifted enough to reach that wholesome state. All basic things are met, they have that good fortune brought forward from previous lives. Then she tried to understand what is wrong then. Then what she understood is uh, those monks did not receive specific food suitable for their medical conditions. That is the missing link of their success. So she started to provide food according to their those specific needs of those monks, and in that particular range retreat period, all of those monks attained enlightenment with the kind help of this lady called Matika Mata. So we can understand how important food for our success of our meditation. And also, next item. Now, first one is called Bhojana Sappaya. What I mentioned in Pali, Bhojana means food, Sappaya means conducive, supportive factors. So, second one, there's a term called Uttu Sappaya. Uh, Meditation will grow very well, very successfully when we have good supportive kind of climate. Uttu means season, and uh, the factor in that component is actually the amount of heat. What we understand by heat, hotness and coldness, right? So in certain climates, in certain weather conditions, we will understand that it is good for our meditation journey, our spiritual well-being. We will attain calmness easily. We are not so distracted. So weather condition also has to do something. That also depending upon your genetic makeup, right? That will depend. Some people like bit hotter climates. Some people like cold weather conditions, and so we can experiment with that also. Now, during in the early morning, right? Uh, the weather condition is generally it is cold, bit cold. So for many people, morning is the best time for their meditation, and so we can plan our day according to this information. And now in Canada, we have in most of the houses we see there's a basement, right? It's a bit underground, one uh, level, one story. Uh, it is built in most of the houses, and it is in the during summertime. It's a great blessing because it is colder than the upper areas, which is now very hot now in this month. It is very hot in Canada, especially this part of the country. So I have found that to practice in the basement is better for me because of this temperature is lower than the other parts of the house or the temple. Right? And humidity also might affect. So in your case, certain factors you have a choice. You can make some adjustment. And say if you have an air condition, you can try that. And what is the temperature? And if you can control humidity, that also might help. And you have to keep a log to understand. I mean. The cause and effect relationship, what is really conducive to your well-being, you have to understand. And sometimes even the geographical area you live in, if you find some other, let's say, hilly mountainous area is better for your growth, uh, sometimes you might even consider moving to a newer place because it really matters. This because this is a very rare gifted opportunity in our samsaric journey. We are blessed by the rising of the Buddha. We have gotten a human life. We were gifted with hearing this Dhamma. All these things are very rare. And now what is left to us is we have to practice, right? Then blessing of conducive people, Puggala Sappaya, right? Now, when associating with certain people, you will find that mind will get distracted, right? To associate with certain people is could be very depleting, very uh, demotivating to our practice. Some people talk too much. Some people even, talk very distracting, unnecessary, defilement promoting subjects. And if you find that they are toxic to your meditation, you can try to eliminate them. And you can, when you make certain friends, when you deal with them, you will find that your mind is inclined towards meditation, calmness, insight, right? Our spiritual journey. Uh, our journey will be better with certain specific people. So we might not have many such people, but we have to try to get along with them, make those friendships, and we have to continue our journey. Of course, we should have compassion for all beings, all people. We must have compassion. But in order to help others, we have to help ourselves first, right? So when you are somewhat advanced, even a toxic kind of person, a difficult person, you might deal with him or her and even might help that person also to rise from that sorry state, right? But that we have to wait for that. Otherwise, both will sort of be bogged down in the mire of defilement. So you have to experiment on various people, be mindful. Is this person is really helpful for my journey? Does my mind become calmer, wiser with these ideas infiltrated by so and so? We have to understand. Actually, Buddha once pointed out when Venerable Ananda asked, Master, I think half of this meditation journey, spiritual journey, depends upon having good friends, having true friends. Then Buddha refused that. No, Anand, don't say so, don't say so. Not only a half, the entire spiritual journey depends upon the fact of having true friends, having spiritual friends, said Buddha. So this point also is very important, right? Then conducive, the blessing of conducive dwellings. Now each and every room, house, temple, meditation center, these buildings, they have a certain uh, flow of energy in those buildings and apartments. So certain places will be very conducive to our uh, spiritual growth. Now, as a monk in Sri Lanka, I can remember we often visit houses of our devotees to uh, partake our food. I mean, they invite for dana, right? Sharing food. And I was surprised to see that certain places, the place is pretty small. They are poor people, but that simple house is, we feel very comfortable, very peaceful to spend that couple of hours. It does not, it is nice to hear that it does not depend upon the financial ability of the house owner, right? It depends upon certain some other factors. It is good to have, if the money is righteously earned, it is okay and it is good to be rich, right? But this, whether a house, that energy inside that, whether it is conducive to our well-being or not supportive, does not depend upon only that financial factor. So in a house also, you can experiment on meditating in each and every room, the upper compartment, the basement, right? Uh, so many meditators say that ground level is better than higher levels, but that depends upon each and every person, right? So we should not rely solely on what others say. You can experiment on uh, certain specific dwellings could be more supportive for our meditation, our psychological well-being. Actually, maybe if you can remember that in the when Buddha taught this Karaniya Metta Sutta, it is actually in Tipitaka we find that as Metta Sutta, the Sutta of love. And when we study the uh, that particular incident which triggered this sharing, teaching this discourse, we hear that Buddha said uh, certain monks were disturbed by living in one particular dwelling, but when they complain about various disturbances caused by some unseen beings, Buddha said that throughout whole world I check, but I don't see even a small place which is conducive to your liberation than this particular place, right? So learn how to radiate or do metta and go back to very same place, because that is the ideal specific place for you, right? So they went with the instructions, they approached with lot of metta, and those unseen beings also helped, and they could make the breakthrough, attain liberation. So this factor is also very important. And also, dear friends, now we are living in somewhat busy times. People are busy, busier than before. And uh, during this busy lifestyle, some people might even forget very basic things like, you know, uh, do- uh, using toilet and the bowel movement, right? These excreta is something that the body wants to get rid of as soon as possible, because it is something the body does not want. And some people, they say, now they have told us that, Bhante, best of the ideas come to my mind when I go and sit on the commode, right? And this should not be like that, because now having gone to the toilet, okay, there is some privacy and there is some silence, but if you start to think about, let's say, okay, the next presentation, the interview, board meeting, right? If you start to think that, the whole body, it changes its uh, way, and the body will not peacefully get rid of those feces. And this kind of behaviors might cause problems like constipation, because you are in a somewhat tense mentality when you are inside the toilet, and that is the time to get rid of your body waste. If your feces are sort of retained in your body longer than normal times or time periods, the body will absorb that some unnecessary toxic things also the blood will absorb, and then your blood will become somewhat toxic, and that is not good for your emotional psychological well-being, right? So when you go to use the toilet, you have to focus your attention. It is something very compassionate you can do, right? Practice compassion. Become a good friend to yourself by getting rid of that body waste as soon as possible. Other things you can, about board meetings, presentations, you have to think in some other place, okay, in some other time. Allocate a better time and place for that, right? Because now actually Buddha did not need to tell this kind of things, because I don't think people were crazy busy during that time, at least like now, right? We are living in different times, so this factor also is very important. And also our elderly experienced meditation masters, they pointed out that it is good to take some laxative to purge your body completely from, you know, feces, uh, to purge your body by using some laxative from time to time. It will be helpful for meditation also. Now meditation concerns mainly about our mind, consciousness, that is true, but our consciousness depends upon uh, this physical body. Consciousness or mind is deeply interconnected and interrelated with our body. So what happens at the physical level, it directly uh, influence our psychological well-being. That is why we have to talk about food, right, and getting rid of body waste at the proper time. That is why we have to think of those things. Right? And also about taking a bath also. We can experiment on. For some people, to take a bath or shower in the morning, it would be better for the uh, peaceful abiding during that day. For some people, it can be in the evening. Whether you take a shower or take bath every day or every other day, you can experiment on, and these things will depend upon the particular seasons also. So what is conducive to your mental development, right? When you can attain calmness, when uh, the factors of awakening, right? The awakening fact of mindfulness, Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of Dhamma, energy, rapture, etc., etc. How those factors are developed, with what conditions you have to be mindful, and in this way we can on purpose we can bring supportive desirable states and undesirable states of mind of our life we can eliminate, and this is how to make the best use of this human life as meditators, as Dharma students. This is how you have to progress in our path, right? We talk about the conducive factor of food, conducive factor of good season, climate, and the blessing of conducive people, right? Good people, supportive people, and the factor of conducive dwellings we mentioned today. So, dear friends, if you have any questions, you can ask now.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for that very interesting topic today. We have always been having speakers who are talking about how to meditate, but today we are learning something new on the various factors that are important in our meditation practice. But one question from me before I move to the audience. Um, we always notice that meditators are found in the forest as opposed to urban areas. How does that relate to what you just said this evening, Mandi?
Okay, let's see. Now, actually, Buddha, yeah, many places Buddha promoted living in the wilderness in secluded areas. It might be conducive to our meditations development. So that also you can experiment on, but in a practical sense, it might not be always easy, right? Now, meditation is not only sitting somewhere like a statue. Now, what I do, according to Buddhism, is nothing but meditation. In Anguttara Nikaya, fifth chapter, right? It says there are 5 places, or I would like to say 5 gateways to uh, attain enlightenment, right? When I reflect on Dhamma, thousands of people have attained enlightenment. Buddha said that, right? When I chant a particular stanza, now these days I often encourage my people, my Sri Lankans living in Sri Lanka. Now maybe you have heard that there is some economic downfall, right? There are certain unrest politically, financially, lot of problems, right? Chant Metta Sutta or Karaniya Metta Sutta as many times as possible, right? That is a form of meditation. when we chant what we have learned, that if we do in the form of meditation with undivided attention, this comes through practice. This is a form of meditation. And also uh, teaching something to others, just like I do, right? That's a form of meditation. So, our spiritual journey should be supported with many such conducive, supportive factors. So, we have to attain parami also, right? The qualities, virtues of our heart and mind, parami. So all those factors we have to collect from time to time. So it might not always be possible to find seclusion in some forest or less populated area. Uh, that particular part you can practice. I mean, as lay people also, certain meditation centers are located in that kind of remote areas, so you can go and try. But I want to stress one thing: certain forest dwellers are there, they promote the view that, actually a couple of days ago I talked with one of my friends. uh, some forest dwellers, they promote the idea that city dwellers cannot meditate at all. This is a crime in the spiritual world to popularize that idea, right? Because there are many things to learn even from city dwelling. Now, I have lived in city dwelling settings about at least about half of my uh, monk's life, my spiritual life, right? Even in city dwelling, I have learned a lot. Finally, now when we talk about vipassana, right? What is vipassana? We have to reflect on the unsatisfactoriness, uh, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self. That three signata of the universe again and again and again. So we get a lot of chances to reflect on this Dhamma even in a city. But if a city is very crowded, it might not be that much supportive, but that also you have to experiment on your own. Yes, seclusion, uh, the physical seclusion, living in forest, of course it helps, but we should not sort of cling to the idea that one cannot meditation in the city. Now we hear in North America there is a famous doctor called John Kabat-Zinn, right? He, in a secular approach, he taught meditation to the patients who came to receive his medical guidance to his clinic in Boston, right? And that is a great success in our times. He did something. He proved that problems like stress, high blood pressure, like medical problems, can be eliminated by mindfulness meditation. He did not that in a forest. Of course, where it is possible, it is good to go to seclusion, forest, and meditate. It is always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for that excellent response. I kind of get the idea now. Bhante, I just want to just clarify a few things before we move on. You mentioned about the Bojanga Sapaya, Utu Sapaya, Puggala Sapaya, is it?
Yes,
And the fourth and the fifth, I think, what were the Pali terms to this, Bhante? Correct,
yeah.
conducive dwellings?
Conducive dwelling, it is Senasana Sappaya, is the blessing of conducive dwellings.
Senasana Sapaya. Okay.
Senasana Sappaya. And Puggala Sappaya means the blessing of conducive people.
And the last one about proper sanitation in toilet etiquette.
Sanitation, actually there's no particular term, but I pointed out because many people in this busy lifestyle, they forget to do justice to their own body. That is why actually our senior monks, senior meditators, they often pointed out that, as I told you earlier, to purge our body using some laxative also would be beneficial from time to time, right? Uh, Now that point we do not hear from Western medical school, right? But I think Ayurveda is right in that sense. So we can learn from that the experiences of our previous elderly monks.
Thank you, Bhante. Okay, there are some questions from the audience. Let me just put that onto the screen for you.
Okay. Okay. During meditation, my mind will sometimes wander. Is there any form of practice or any action that can assist me in keeping focus? So, as I mentioned, these various conducive factors, you can check whether is there any improvement with regard to food. You can change the people you associate with, the dwelling, the room you meditate, that kind of factors you can change and you can experiment on. And also uh, during meditation, if we struggle to calm down, right, that also it is counterproductive, right? Now it is good to take the approach of vipassana. When your mind is distracted, if you can be aware that there is distraction, by that much also you become a good meditator. There is credit in that. Right now in the Satipatthana Sutta, it teaches us Vikittan va chittan, Vikittan chittanti pajanati. Pajanati means to be aware, to be deeply, fully aware. What we are going to aware, if there is distraction, if you are aware of that, that is something great. Many people do not credit that, right? An animal cannot do that. Animal could be distracted, a dog or a cat, but he is not aware that I am distracted, I am afraid, I am lazy, I feel drowsiness. They don't know. This is a human ability. So go with that approach. uh, During certain times of the year you might find it is easy to calm down, but we should not uh, force our mind to calm down. We have to go with open heart and mind. Be open to whatever comes up, right? This approach is very important, otherwise people struggle. Now, Satipatthana Sutta clearly mentions that we have to meditate without desire and aversion, or eliminating desire and aversion. Because when there is desire, when we desire even calmness, right, we add some confusion to our mind. So that also will, so actually there's a very fine balance, right? If you don't want to meditate, you will let go the practice completely. And if we have some kind of goal-oriented kind of behavior, if we have an agenda, if we cling to that agenda, oh, I might have to calm down, right? I have to experience bliss, etc., etc. It is counterproductive. So please do not do that. Be open-minded. In your meditation cushion, if you know that you are distracted, you are anxious, right? Just welcome that. Be aware. Those distractions uh, will leave you in their own schedule. We cannot force that. That does not work. Yeah. Where can I find conducive meditation master? That also you can experiment on, right? Uh, so when you have this Tripitaka, you will know the basic things about meditation. And now when talking about various books, Maybe you might have read books of Venerable Ajahn Chah, Thai meditation master, right? Widely read, widely respected books, right? Uh, and Venerable Ajahn Brahma also, when we talk about great monks living today. So you can experiment on regard to that. So let's say if we speak about Vipassana, whoever the meditation master is, their teaching should uh, it should sort of in harmony with the basic teachings of the Buddha. What are the very basic teachings? Four Noble Truths, dependent origination, the cause-effect relationship, and three signata or three hallmarks of the existence: anicca, dukkha, anatta. Right? Everything is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self. Right? So these are the basic central philosophical teachings of the Buddha. Right? If they fall into that category, he is a good meditation teacher. I teach this specifically because now there are some meditation teachers, they promote certain nonsense also in the name of Dhamma. Right? That is why I taught you the very basic principles. If some teaching is true, it should fit into Four Noble Truths. This is unsatisfactory. Right? This is the unsatisfactoriness. This is the cause of unsatisfactoriness. This is the cessation of unsatisfactoriness or dukkha. This is the path leading to the uh, cessation of unsatisfactoriness. Right? If we use that formula, we will never go astray. We can judge. We can size up any meditation master. Bhante, what is your advice on walking meditation? Is it also a good practice? If so, what is the proper way to practice walking meditation? Walking meditation is wonderful. It is very helpful. Right now, we often today people talk that nowadays, present day people, they lack exercise. Now, Lord Buddha did not have to exhort this point often because those days our ancestors they naturally they had their exercises, long distance walking, hauling water, splitting wood, right? Now many so much of automation, so that they have robbed our exercises and people become sick. So our bodies are made to exercise. Our bodies are designed to exercise. If they lack, if they miss this physical exercise, again our mind will be sort of unsettled. The system is unsettled, so it is not good for our mental development. So that in that sense also walking meditation is very good, recommended. Actually the world renowned meditation master I just mentioned, Venerable Ajahn Chah, he recommended that. Actually he said, if you do walking meditation at least 2 hours per day, I will guarantee some results. So that is something great. How to do walking meditation? Basic instructions are given in Satipatthana Sutta. Gacchanto va gacchamiti pajanati. Very basically, when you walk, you should be aware that you are walking, right? Take some path, a place where you can walk for at least 10 or 15 steps, right? uh, Depending on your house or the garden you are going to practice. So let's say we call it the walking meditation path. You sit at one end, you stand at one end, and uh, just pay attention to your body. Feel the sensation of the ground, right? Then we start mindfully, we start normally by raising the right foot first, right? When you uh, raise the right foot, you should be aware that I raise the right foot. Then when you raise the left foot, you should be aware that I raise the left foot. So we can reflect on, there are a couple of methods, but the essence is the same, right? You can reflect on, okay, this is a right foot, left foot, right, left. In that way you can be aware. That word is just a tool to anchor your mind on what goes on. We should not cling on to that, right? The, the most important thing is to be aware of your bodily movements, right? When there is a doubt, pain, anxiety, etc., you have to label. You can label. Okay, this is doubt, couple of times, and you focus your attention on your body, right? If some planning comes to your mind, oh, this is I'm thinking. Couple of times you reflect on that and you let go. Again, again and again and again, we come back to this body. And when you go to the other end where you have to turn, normally we turn from the right? Turn from the right side, knowing that you are turning. Again, you uh, start walking. And now, instead of saying or thinking right or left, some people break down to even finer parts. They reflect on, now this one movement of one particular leg, it can be broken down to 3 steps: lifting, moving, and placing, right? Let's say if we take the right foot, we lift the foot, we move forward, and we again place, right? So lifting, moving, placing. Other foot also lifting, moving, and placing. If you think this format is better, you can experiment on in any format. The essence is be aware, and after some time you don't need these labels at all, right? You will relax, your mind will relax into just the awareness of the bodily movement, walking, right? Basic instructions are this. Yes, it's a great form of meditation in many ways. It gives physical exercise, right? We can dispel drowsiness, lethargy. It energizes our body. There are many benefits.
Thank you, Bhante. Those were all the questions that we received this evening. Maybe we can now proceed to the Anumodana, Bhante.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. So, we traditionally do something very meaningful. We share this world with many beings, and it includes unseen beings also. So, may all heavenly beings share these merits. May they fulfill their good wishes and may they attain the supreme bliss of liberation. And also may all our departed relatives and friends also share these merits. May they fulfill their good wishes and may they too attain the supreme bliss of liberation. Akasattaa ca bhummattaa deva anaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanang. Akasattaa ca bhummattaa deva anaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattaa ca bhummattaa deva anaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mam paranti. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all the merits we accrued, by the blessings of the triple gem, by the blessings of all heavenly beings who share these merits, may you be able to fulfill all your good, meaningful wishes in this life May your spiritual journey be successful, and upon development of all enlightening qualities, may you soon be able to realize the unsurpassed bliss of liberation. With that kind attitude, I bless upon you with this chanting. අභිවාදන සීලිස්ස නිච්ඡං වද්ධාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩಂತಿ ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරාෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච අතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පatti ඉමිනාතේ සමිජ්ජතු.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for conducting the Anumodana. So
Yeah.
we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing by Bhante Chandananda. And we look forward to Bhante's next Dhamma sharing, which is next Sunday at the same time here at the Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page. It's at 8:30 p.m. It's got a very interesting subject. It's called Heaven Can Be Found in the Most Unlikely Corners. I think it's a very interesting subject. Also very interesting, intriguing title. So we look forward to seeing you next Sunday here at the Dhammadana series Dhamma sermon by Bhante Chandananda from Canada. So with that, Bhante, thank you very much, and we really appreciate your time.
You are very welcome. Thank you very much for attending.
Yes, thank you. And also to the sponsors for this evening's Dhamma sharing, and also to all the listeners and viewers here at the Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page. Please have a safe day and also a pleasant evening. We will see you next week. Sadhu. Sukhi Hotu.